Let us not forget everything that happens. It's by the will of Allah. Holy will. It's time to unite and stand, and we will be the best amongst men. It's not time to be extreme or a duty unthinkable, but to stand together as one. Tune into Sunnahfollowers, streaming every day, various platforms. Trust me, you'll find a way. Sunnahfollowers, you will make it through. The fitrah is awake in you. With Quran and Sunnah by your side, here's a place where it will thrive. You will make it through. You will make it through. The fitrah is awake in you. With Quran and Sunnah on his side, here's a place where it will thrive. You will make it through. With Quran and Sunnah on his side, here's a place where it will thrive. You will make it through.
This is one of the most important classes that we teach, because this is the class that teaches us what it is that we're supposed to believe in as Muslims. You know, we believe La ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah, but that's easier said than done. As Allah tells us in the Quran, just because we say that we believe in Allah, it's not enough. It's not enough. It's easier said than done. You know, I look at ever since you know, we've been streaming here on YouTube, and we've got a lot of new users, a lot of people who have joined our classes, mashallah. And I have to admit that the majority of the people who attend our classes on YouTube are the best Muslims, because I can see that you are Muslims who have been looking for the truth. And that's what we've been speaking about, the fitrah of the heart. It's trying to find its way back to Allah. If your parents didn't raise you upon that belief system, you're going to try to find its way. It's going to try to find its way back. That's why, you know, even the non-Muslims, they go through these moments in life where they ask, you know, what is my purpose? And you will hear a lot of them speak about that. You know, they make Zoom programs and talk shows about what is the purpose of life. They don't know what their purpose is. You know, that's because their fitrah, you know, is trying to find its way back to Allah. They were not raised upon the true belief system. And whatever belief system that they were raised upon, they know it's false, because the fitrah recognize truth from falsehood. So these people are unhappy in their lives. They know that there's an ultimate purpose for them, but they don't know what it is. So they hop around life looking for it. Some of the people find their purpose. They understand, they realize that they were created to worship Allah, and they embrace our way of life known as total submission to Allah, which is Islam. But then there are those who don't find their purpose. They don't figure out what their purpose is. They're discontent with life. But it's not just non-Muslims who encounter this. As a dawah, I've been teaching Islam on the internet since 1986. I was the first, you know, to teach Islam using voice technology. And what I have discovered over all these years is that there's a lot of Muslims who have not found their way to Allah either. Especially when you look on social media, You know, as I look on the YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, you know, when we're teaching Islam here at Sunnahfollowers, we're calling the people to the true belief system. A lot of your hearts have been ignited. Then I see these other Muslims who think that their hearts are ignited, but it's not. These are Muslims who have barriers within their hearts. Okay? Arrogance, unhappiness, depression, anxiety, sadness, grudge holding. They're bitter. They become bitter people because they've allowed their subconscious to take over their hearts and resonate through their souls. And so they think that they found their way to Allah. They think they know the religion of Islam. They think they understand their purpose, but in reality, they don't. So they make it hard for those other Muslims who do understand their purpose. These are the ones that engage in all that debate, that negativity on the internet, the name bashing, kafir calling, putting other Muslims down, raining on other Muslims' parades. They see a Muslim woman touched by a lecture about Allah. Her fitrah has been awakened. Her fitrah has been ignited. She's rediscovered her purpose in life. Her purpose in life has been reaffirmed to her. She's around, her fitrah is surrounded by others like it who recognize its purpose. And so that woman will speak from her heart, speak the truth from the heart, which is already attracted to what is truthful and good and clean. And as she's speaking the truth, her truth, this person who thinks their fitrah is ignited, but it's not, it's clouded, it's veiled. It's veiled by the barriers that came from the subconscious. Those barriers which have now resonated through the soul. And they'll rain on that sister's parade. Call that sister a kafir. Say that what she's saying, her truth that she's confessing and speaking from her heart is a falsehood. And then they'll even go so far as to look at this ignited fitrah and call it a kafir, or say it's misguided, and say, may Allah guide it to the true, what he considers to be truth. These are the days that we're living in. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was told, you know, about these days. Remember, guys, our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he would have suffered with anxiety too. Anxiety is a human emotion. If not controlled, it can cloud your heart. If not controlled and balanced, it can overwhelm the fitrah and even extinguish it. But alhamdulillah, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, even though he suffered with anxiety, through his example, he taught us how to balance it, how to control it. And he told his wife Aisha, I worry too. I suffer with anxiety too. He said, one of the things I worry about is what's going to happen to you, my wives, when I'm gone. He said, and I really worry about my brothers and sisters who I have not yet met, who I have yet to meet. I worry, how they will be able to maintain that true belief, this true belief that I came with. And that's when Allah, had manifested to the prophet some of the trials and the tribulations that his later generation of followers, will endure. And that's when the prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, good news, glad tidings to the strangers. He was talking about us, those of us who come way after him, when Islam will be distorted, when Islam will be strange, when the people of truth will be viewed as people of falsehood, and the people of falsehood and ignorance will be viewed as people of truth. These are the terrible days that we are living in today. So my point here, even if you think that your fitrah, the fitrah within you, is ignited, don't be so sure. Don't be so sure. Because we have to remember that qarin, that jinn that is also assigned to your heart, he's going to work overtime. If you do ignite your fitrah, he's going to work overtime to try to appeal to your subconscious, to make it a barrier between that light and Allah. That's why the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us as Muslims to always hold ourselves accountable. Hold yourself accountable before you do a deed, and then hold yourself accountable after you do it. Because Shaitan is the master manipulator. And I see so many of these young brothers today, and I'm talking to you, the brothers, the youth here, my little brothers here and on Twitch and Trovo. And I really applaud you, brothers. You are young brothers, and I know you're on Twitch and Trovo playing games. It's the gaming sites. But mashallah, you always play your game and log in to me and listen to my channel to be inspired. But I want you brothers to never take for granted that your fitrah is strong, because there's so many of these others who show us over and over that they're just as lost as these unbelievers are. We have no respect for elders. We have no respect for people of knowledge today. We have no respect for our parents, no respect for our wives, our children. We don't even respect ourselves. It's sad. So hold yourself accountable. And that's what we're speaking about in these pages of the book, Diluting El Wala Wal Bara, written by Sheikh Karim Abu Zaid. For those of you who have not yet purchased this book, go to Amazon.com. This is volume 2 that we're in. We're on page today. I'll be discussing pages 100 through 101. And I did share with Kareem a few days ago the impact that this masterpiece has had on the lives of so many of you. Because I get, believe it or not, for the first time, I've been giving dawah since 86. But I can honestly say I get more good emails now than I do negative ones. I might get one or two, extreme, the kafir calling people emails. And then I'll get 20 of the good ones. So, but I did share with Kareem the wonderful feedback that you sisters have given me as to how your fitrah has been ignited, how the light within your heart has been recharged. since coming and attending my classes. And I want you sisters to stay here, because lighting, reigniting, and Kareem would tell you this too, reigniting the fitrah is just the beginning. Keeping that light burning, that's the struggle, because the struggle has begun. The fact that your light has been reawakened and your fitrah is beginning its journey back to Allah. You got the barriers of the heart now, such as the subconscious, trying to get you to listen to your soul, which is naturally attracted to what's dirty, what's bad, what's evil. And that's what we're discussing in this section today. We talked about how one of the barriers that stands between your fitrah growing is ignorance of the religion. We talked about how it's very, very important that you seek that knowledge which is beneficial. And the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us there's a difference between knowledge that is beneficial and knowledge that is not. He said beneficial knowledge is the knowledge that will make you break down and cry. It'll make you want to hold yourself accountable. It'll make you want to change the condition of yourself to that which is pleasing to Allah. It'll cause you to want to weep over your sins and seek forgiveness. And that's why I tell you guys, when you listen to these speakers on social media that y'all listen to, how can you tell if what you're listening to is beneficial? Is he making you cry? Is he making you challenge yourself? Is he making you recognize your faults, your deficiencies, and repent? You know, if the knowledge does not have that effect on you, turn it off. It's not of benefit. So ignorance of the religion, a lack of the correct understanding, like a lot of these brothers got that's good at bashing other Muslims, they don't have the correct knowledge. They don't have the correct understanding. It's all about their shake, their shake, their shake. We don't follow no shake and bakes. It's all about the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the understanding his companions had. That's another way you can tell if the knowledge you're learning is beneficial. Are they quoting their sheikh? Are they quoting imams? Or are they quoting Abu Huraira, Ibn Abbas, radiallahu anha, Aisha, Salama, Sa'id al-Khudri? Y'all understand? Those are some of the ways you can tell if what you're listening to is a benefit or not. And also, if it's social media, look at the attacks. If that person's being blasted by a bunch of Muslims and called kafir, because that person is quoting what Allah said, what the Prophet said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, what Abu Huraira and Ibn Abbas and them said, then that's a good sign. That means that the awliya of shaitan are trying to knock him out, trying to prevent you from learning the truth, trying to steer you to the Reawakening. So today we're going to speak about another barrier. We talked about ignorance, and we talked about how the subconscious, the nafs, the subconscious, it all starts with bad thoughts. That's why the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught us Allah doesn't hold us accountable for our bad thoughts. But when you get them, you better say, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Because if you don't knock that bad thought out, it's going to travel to your heart and it will become a barrier of the heart. That's the subconscious. And it will travel to your soul and then emulate through your actions. So we're going to pick up from that today. We're going to speak about another barrier of the heart that Sheikh Kareem Abu Zayd goes into detail about. And that barrier is vanity, conceitedness. Conceitedness. It's similar. In fact, it's a synonym of arrogance. We talked about ignorance. We talked about arrogance. Well, we have to address vanity because that's a big problem today. So take out your books, turn to page 100. We're on page 100, and let me put everything down so you can see. And by the way, guys, please support this dawah effort. You know, I met moderators take care of that. Please support this this dawah effort. I made some new overlays at the top. Y'all see the PayPal me? That's the link to donate, guys. We need donations so badly to keep this dawah effort going. And if you go to that link, PayPal me /Sunnahfollowers, you can make a donation. I put it at the top just so y'all know. It's supposed to be a scan thing, but I don't think it works. I got to figure that out. I have to figure out why my I couldn't get that thing to scan. So I'll work on that later though. But it's at the top, the link, PayPal me /Sunnahfollowers. Okay, so let's take everything down so I can, and turn, you get your books out. I want everyone to screenshot. If you're using your cell phone, your iPad, tablet, screenshot when I put my PowerPoints up, like I had you guys do with Dr. Jamali and Dr. Ali's. All of our classes here at Sunnahfollowers that we use PowerPoints, take screenshots. And then at the end of the class, print the screenshot out. Yeah, print the screenshot out and then staple the pages together and attach it to the page of this book. Today's is gonna be attached to page 100. So let me try to set this up. I want y'all to be able to take good screenshots. Okay, hold on. All right, and let me start with Zoom. If it freezes, that's okay. It's going to freeze because I got to switch it to Zoom. Where's Zoom? Oh, here I am. I'm already here. Okay, hold on, Zoomers. Okay, this is them. Okay, guys, and now I'm going to take you to the PowerPoint. Give me a second. Yeah, that's calming. The sister says she likes my background. Remember, we talked about anxiety, how that can also, it is a barrier of the heart if not controlled. Even me, I suffer with big time anxiety. Remember, the people of knowledge, we are the inheritors of the prophets. We inherit their problems too. Not only their knowledge, but their problems. You know, all the prophets, alayhi salam, suffer with anxiety. That's why you'll find people like myself, Dr. Jamali is a person that has anxiety. Even Sheikh Morsi, that's just a norm. Okay, but we control it. And the way I control mine is with my background settings. If Dr. Jamali's wife was here, she's one of the ones that suggested this to me when I had my knee surgery. You know, calming platforms like fire. I got fireplaces. I have a fireplace in my bedroom. I have a fireplace in my living room. I have a waterfall in my bedroom. That type of stuff calms you. It calms you. And the snow falling, the rain falling. So this is an example. And as a daya, I try to be a role model to you guys. You know, this is how I combat my anxiety. Because everything is stressful at this website. A calming, look at the incense. See how I got the incense blowing in the back here on the table? You know, the fireplace, the snow. So that's why I chose that background. I made it. By the way, I made that. Yeah, I made it with the AI generator. Yeah, so I try to make all my backgrounds calming for me, since I spend most of my time looking at the computer. I'm on the computer for 90% of the time. So rather than dealing with the bad Muslims that come in trying to call everybody kafirs, you know, I can look at my calming background and it'll calm me and give me the ability to deal with those people. Y'all understand? Yeah, so that's what that is. Okay, inshallah, everybody should be able to see my screen. Yeah, I learned that from Dr. Jamali's wife, that was 3 years ago when I had my surgery. I went crazy, y'all. My anxiety was off the hook with that first knee surgery. Okay, so we're going to speak today. This is pages 100, vanity, or being vain, conceited. This is also a barrier of the heart that can stand between the light of the heart finding its way back to Allah. Okay? And one of the critical challenges that being too conceited does is that it'll take your attention away from Allah. It'll take your attention away from your journey to Allah, because you'll become more engrossed in yourself, how you look. That's why I tell you, sisters, we all want to be beautiful. There's nothing wrong with that. Any man that tells you that because you're a woman, you can't be beautiful, they're a liar. As I'm proving to y'all every day, the prophets' wives were beautiful women. Their beauty is talked about to this day. Books written about them and their beauty. Okay? But it was balanced. It was balanced. They weren't so engrossed in their outward appearances that they became remiss in their relationship with Allah. Also, being so conceited, it'll make you more concerned with your achievements or wanting to try to keep up with the Joneses instead of the Abdullahs. You're more concerned with making money and having the best house, the best car, the best mosque and all of that. You want people to praise you, to recognize you, like a lot of the Ruwakening doing here on social media. They want you to look at them as being scholars when they're not. They want you to praise them, recognize them. It's all about fame, as David Bowie talked about. And look where fame got him. You end up losing sight of your purpose in life. You fail to worship Allah correctly and follow his guidance. So that's the danger of being conceited or self-absorbed. And it creates a veil that hinders or prevents your soul from experiencing the deeper truths and spiritual enlightenments that come from connecting with Allah. So if you are a person that suffers with conceitedness, you have to work hard to overcome this barrier, because until you overcome that barrier, you will never succeed in the journey towards Allah. And remember, vanity turns into arrogance. It's arrogance. And this is a sin of disbelief. You know, anyone who dies arrogant, thinking himself better than anyone else, this is a person that looks upon himself as being equal or greater than Allah. And that's a sin of disbelief that Allah will never forgive. Okay? Shirk also means disbelief. There's a lot of sins of disbelief. I'll talk about the sins of disbelief during Ramadan, because I always teach them sins during Ramadan. So if a person is suffering with self-centeredness, this is a person that has lost his way. This is a person whose journey towards Allah has become stunted because they're more concerned with themselves and their own personal achievements in this world than being concerned with the hereafter. And the first step in overcoming this is, again, to recognize that everything that's good comes from Allah. The good status you have in this world is a blessing that came from Allah. And just as Allah giveth, he can take it away. Remember the story of Qarun that we talked about yesterday, and his arrogance. Instead of him thanking Allah for his achievements, he thanked himself, and look where he is now. So the first step in overcoming this hurdle in your journey is to recognize La ilaha illallah, that all blessings and achievements come from him. Everything good comes from him as a result of how he's pleased with you. And that everything good is a test too. Allah gives us that money. He gives us those achievements to see, are we still going to humble ourselves before him, or are we going to be like Harun? We have to work on modesty. We have to work on doing things to please Allah. That's why Sheikh Morsi, when he came in for that Q&A last month, he said, you don't do good deeds to please your husband. You do good deeds to please Allah, and whenever we do good deeds to please Allah, Allah will in turn love you and cause the people that are supposed to love you to love you. That hadith about paradise for a woman, that hadith means it's talking about the woman fulfilling her obligations, because Allah obligated us to do it. I'm obeying my husband and what he tells me to do that doesn't contradict what Allah says, because Allah wants me to do that. I'm guarding in his absence what Allah would have me to guard, what he would have me to guard, because Allah commanded me. I'm doing what Allah commanded me to do because I want to end up in paradise. Okay? And as a result of that, Allah will cause your husband to love you. So, embracing modesty and a sincere desire to please Allah, this paves the way for spiritual growth. And this opens the connection with Allah. But by having an internal sense of worth and self-acceptance, but instead of attributing that good to Allah, will just cause you to become arrogant and can cause you to become one of the denizens of the hellfire. And this is why, guys, too, as Allah sends blessings to us in this world, we cannot become remiss in our obligations to him. You have to continue to engage in your prayers, continue to seek knowledge of Islam, continue to fulfill all requirements that Allah has imposed upon us. A lot of Muslim women I know today, when life is going good for them, I never see them. They stop coming to these classes. The only time they pop up in here is when their husband is about to divorce them, or when something bad done happen. Okay? You don't want to be a person like that. You want to thank Allah in good times and in bad times. You want to remember Allah in good times and in bad times. You want to keep that connection open with Allah in good times and in bad times. That's how we overcome the barrier of vanity. And when we do that, you will become content with the qadr of Allah. Those women that come in here only when times is bad, these are women that can't accept the qadr of Allah. Okay? They're not balanced. But that balance will cause you to be able to handle yourself in good times and bad times, and accept that everything that happens is because Allah willed it. And everything that happens, good and bad, is a test for you, a test for us. Does everybody understand that? Take a screenshot of this page here. Okay? All right.